We talked about how to discretize uh, a derivative, first derivative or second derivative, and we saw that for central difference where you get order delta x square or order delta y square, the second order accuracy. For these cases, if this point is ij, you need the point on the right and the point on the left. Okay, and then you can write dou u by dou x if this is the x-axis at ij. Let me write equal to sign so that I can write the order of error, the truncation error. So dou u by dou x written as written in central difference uh, approximation ui plus 1j minus ui minus 1j by 2 delta x, and the order of error here is delta x square. Similarly, we saw that for second derivative, this is ui plus 1j minus 2 uij plus ui minus 1j by delta x square, and this is also order delta x square. So you can see that we are using both of these neighbors of ij. Now the question arises, if you want the same accuracy, the second order accuracy, but let's say you are at a wall here beyond which there is no other point, and you want the derivative at this point. Let's call it I equal to 1, and let us consider a one-dimensional situation. This is 2, this is 3, and so on. And you want the derivative at 1. So let me write dou u by dou x at point 1, I equal to 1. Or in other words, x equal to 0. This is x, and this is x equal to 0. Now how do you do this? There is an approach called polynomial approach, which you can derive the result that we'll derive from polynomial approach. You can derive using Taylor series expansion also, but it is easier to do so with this polynomial approach. Okay, what we'll do is we will assume that this variable u can be written as a polynomial in x. We can write this polynomial with any degree, but we'll limit to x square here, degree 2. If we want higher accuracy, that is order delta x cube or delta x to the power 4, then we can take a higher degree polynomial. And how does that improve the accuracy, we'll discuss later on. Okay, now let us write u at 1, I equal to 1. At 1, x is equal to 0, so this coefficient of uh, b and c, that is x and x square, they go to 0. You get u1 equal to a. U at 2, what is x at I equal to 2? If we assume that this grid is equidistant, this is delta x, then we can write a plus b delta x plus c delta x square. Similarly, let us write u at 3 because we need 3 equations for these 3 unknowns a, b and c. This becomes a plus 2b delta x plus 4c delta x square. Let us call it 1 and this has 2. Now if you subtract 4 times 1 from 2, you will get u3 minus 4u2 as minus 3a minus 2b delta x. Now you can calculate b from here. We already know what is a. A is u1, the value of u at grid point 1. So we can replace that here. Instead of a, we can write u1 and then we'll get b. B is minus 3u1 plus 4u2 minus u3 by 2 delta x. Now what is it that we need here? We need dou u by dou x at I equal to 1. Let us directly differentiate this and see what that is. Dou u by dou x at I equal to 1, that is x equal to 0. What is dou u by dou x? It is b plus 2c delta x. B plus 2c, sorry, not delta x, just x. We are differentiating that directly. If you put x equal to 0 here, because we are calculating dou u by dou x at x equal to 0, you get b. And that is what we have found here. B is equal to this. So in other words, you can say dou u by dou x at I equal to 1 or x equal to 0, that is at the boundary point, it is minus 3u1 plus 4u2 minus u3 by 2 delta x, assuming that u is this polynomial a plus bx plus cx square. Now how does it give us second order accuracy? Let us compare this u equal to a plus bx plus cx square with the Taylor series expansion of u at 1 plus dou u by dou x at 1 times x. X is the distance away from point 1 where we want the value of u, plus dou 2u by dou x square at point 1 x square by 2 factorial plus dou 3u by dou x cube at 1 x cube by 3 factorial and so on. Now if you compare this polynomial u equal to a plus bx plus cx square with this Taylor series expansion, then you can see that we have retained only these 3 terms. Okay, so in other words, for points close to the boundary point, essentially we are saying that u of x is first 3 terms, that is a plus bx plus cx square, where a is u1, b is dou u by dou x1 and c is, let me mark these, this is a, this is b and this is c. And then you have order x cube, that is the truncation error. Okay, Now we are limited to 2 delta x mostly because there are 3 points. We are limited to 2 delta x. So the maximum error that we are making while doing this calculation is order 2 delta x cube, or in other words we can say it is order delta x cube. It is of that order, okay, approximately that order. So this expression of u has an error of order 2 delta x cube or order delta x cube for these 3 points. Therefore the derivative which we got here, because it has 2 delta x in the denominator, so the numerator is order delta x cube and there is a denominator delta x, so this becomes order delta x square. This is the order of error that we have while approximating dou u by dou x at I equal to 1 with the expression on the right hand side. Now let us go back to the heat conduction equation or thermal conduction equation that we were looking at. This is the one-dimensional heat conduction equation that we wrote and discretized it. We used FTCS scheme to discretize this, which means forward in time and central in space. So we wrote forward in time Tn plus 1 Ij Tn I. There is no J in this case because there is no Y direction. So we can just write Ti n plus 1 minus Tin by delta T. By the way, we can do the same thing, a similar thing for 2 dimensions also. We will have I comma j there. Okay. On the right hand side, we get Ti plus 1 minus T 2 Ti Ti minus 1 by delta x square. And this is an approximation. This equal to sign that you see here is not correct. If it is an equal to sign, we have to write the order of error, which is delta t and delta x square. Okay, because in space this is second order accurate, it is a central difference, and in time this is a first order accurate formula. Okay, now we said that we are calculating the right hand side at time at the current time. Okay, that's why we are writing n as the superscript. N is the current time step, n plus 1 is the next time step. And there are other ways of writing this. We can write using BTCS, that is backward in time and central in space. So backward in time means we will still write so we will still write Tn I plus 1 minus 2 Tin plus Ti minus 1 n by delta x square, and here this is backward, so it becomes Tn minus 1 by delta t. Or if you add 1 to n everywhere, because it doesn't matter, you can write Tn plus 1 minus Tn equal to alpha times and the right hand side with Tn plus 1. So that is same as this if you add 1 to n everywhere. Okay, and this is also order delta t delta x square. Now if you notice these two equations, we also solved this first equation on MATLAB. Okay, I showed you how to solve this. We directly wrote Tn plus 1. We wrote Tn plus 1 at I equal to whatever comes on the right hand side after taking everything to the right hand side. So you get this as a function of temperature at the nth time step. Okay, so you directly get the formula for temperature at the next time step in terms of temperature at the previous time step or the current time step. So this is also known as explicit method or explicit scheme of writing the finite difference formula. So this is an explicit difference equation. And the second one, as you can see here, we cannot get this temperature at nth time step in terms of temperature at n minus 1. So on the right hand side I have missed these i's. Here if you want to write Tin, let us write this. You can see this is Tin minus Tin minus 1 equal to alpha delta T by delta x square Ti plus 1n minus 2 alpha delta T by delta x square Tin plus alpha delta T by delta x square Ti minus 1n. You cannot get Tin or Ti minus 1n or T plus 1n directly from here because you don't know temperatures at nth time step here. You know at the previous time step n minus 1, but you don't know the other values. So how can you solve this equation or this system of equations is you write the equations for each I. You write for T I equal to 1. So you will write T1n minus T1n minus 1 equal to the right hand side. Okay, that will be at nth time step. Similarly, you write T2n minus T2n minus 1 equal to the entire thing at the nth time step, and so on for all the points. And then there will be as many equations as there are number of unknowns here, because number of unknowns are uh, just the number of grid points, right, at the next time step, and those many equations you have. So you solve this system of equations, solve all the equations simultaneously using some method that we'll discuss later on. The method that you know of maybe involves matrices, taking determinant and so on, right? Therefore this one, because you cannot explicitly express the temperature at the next time step as a function of temperature at the previous time step, this is known as an implicit scheme or implicit method of writing the difference equation. This is an implicit approach and that is an explicit approach. So explicit is very simple to code. Why would we ever want to write this difference formula using this implicit method? What is the advantage of writing it in an implicit way? So there are some benefits of implicit approach. One is that I did not show you in the MATLAB code that we wrote there. There we took the value of alpha delta t by delta x square, if you remember, as 0.1. Okay, and we said tin plus 1 is equal to 0.1 times the entire thing in the bracket plus tin, and it gave the result. Okay, but if I would have taken this as 2 or something else higher than this, there is a relationship. You have to take alpha delta t by delta x square less than a certain value to get the correct answer. Otherwise, this is unstable. The errors increase with time. Not this error in particular. It is the round off error of the machine itself that increases with time, increases with every time step, and the solution is unstable. So it will give you some wrong result for the explicit approach. If you don't have alpha delta t by delta x square less than a certain value, okay, which we will derive later on. Whereas for this particular equation, for this particular scheme BTCS, if you uh, find out the stability condition, which we will do later on, you don't get any condition on alpha delta t by delta x square. It is unconditionally stable. That is, whatever value of alpha delta t by delta x square you take, you will get the correct result. But of course, it depends on this error. You cannot take delta t very high, otherwise this error will be very high. Okay, but you don't get an unstable solution. So that is the benefit of writing in an explicit way, that the solution is not unstable, it is stable. Now, why do we care about this value? Um, as you can see in the numerator, we have delta t. If alpha delta t by delta x square has to be less than a certain value c, let's say, then your delta t has to be smaller than some value c. What that means is, if you want to go from time 0 to t1, you want to simulate up to this much time t1, then you have to take, you have a limit on the time step, this delta t, that you can take. You cannot take big delta t values. So you have to solve at each of these time steps, and it will take more number of time steps to reach t1 as compared to an implicit discretization. Okay, so you increase your simulation time and cost. Now you can see delta x square is in the denominator, which means if you take uh, a big value of delta x square, then it is fine. A big value of delta x, then it is fine. If you take a smaller value of delta x, then you have to change your delta t accordingly so that you satisfy this condition. Okay, a smaller value of delta x will increase this left hand side. Therefore, you have to decrease your delta t to satisfy this condition. So if you are refining your grid, if you want a more accurate result, more spatially accurate result, because we have discussed, if the grid is more refined, if it is finer, if delta x is smaller, then you get more accurate results. So if you want a more accurate result in space, if you want to decrease the order of error uh, in space, then you also need to decrease your delta t. That is what you see from this formula. Okay, but why should you decrease your delta t if you are getting a good enough answer? If you don't want to increase your time resolution, then why should you do that? So that is a constraint here in explicit method, that you have to do it. You spend more time in simulation. Therefore, an implicit approach is more efficient, you can say. So it was very simple to code explicit scheme, but it has this constraint. So we'll see that in the next class. Thank you.